Hey y'all, so today's video, word of encouragement, whatever you want to call it, is going to be titled, Remember Who You Are. Now let me go deeper into that. So a couple of years ago, for one of my birthdays, I sat and I self-reflected, and I'm like, okay, if I had to leave advice behind, what would I say? And one of the main things that's been sticking with me lately was a quote that I had said to myself, or that I wrote down, which said, remember who you were before the world told you who you needed to be. Sit with that for a second. Remember who you were before the world told you who you needed to be. Because I believe as children, we're the closest we can ever be to God. We're so innocent. We're so pure. God can really speak to us. We have the faith to believe that we could truly achieve anything. And so he can show us many things. He can really speak to us and tell us things because we have the faith to actually believe it. The innocence and the beauty of being a child. It even encourages us in the Bible to have childlike faith, because when we are a child, we believe, that quote, if you believe, you can achieve, anything you put your mind to. And I know, speaking for myself as a kid, I took that literal. I would argue people down because if I truly believed it, it could be done. So you couldn't tell Amber anything. Like, call it stubborn now that I'm older, but back then you couldn't tell me nothing, because if I truly believed it, I'm going to find a way. There's going to be some type of way. And so I think there's beauty in that. And we lose that as an adult as we get older, because the world starts to tell us, okay, no, you need to be this way. You need to do this. You have to have this career, because if you want to make money and you want to live the American dream, you have to be able to do this. We kind of lose ourselves in trying to become who we feel like we have to be to form into the world and to fit into the world and to achieve the things we want, that we lose that childlike faith that's deep within us. Don't get too accustomed to making a living that you yourself forget to live. We were all put here to make an impact, and that's not to say that you can't do it at a job or at a corporation, but don't limit it to that. God has a bigger purpose for you, and sometimes it's not tied to where you're working at. Sometimes it's not tied to a specific position, but it doesn't have to be. Because that child is still living in you. That child is the one that's reminding you, like, hey, this is why we're here. This is what we're meant for. Remember who you were before the world told you who you had to be. Those gifts and those talents that you had as a child, the things that sparked your interest, the things that you were naturally good at, the things that your heart gravitated for. That's why being like a child felt like living, because we were actually living. That's how life was intended to be lived, with that childlike faith, that childlike innocence, that love for things, that pure love. Not doing it because we had to or because someone was telling us to, but because we had that natural desire, that implanted desire to go out and do it. And that was God talking to us all along and showing us the pieces of the puzzle and showing us who he was molding us to be. Not who this world has told us that we have to be to conform. No, we were never meant to conform. The world will always try to dim that light that God placed in you as a child. It's your job not to let it.